Now you know about aperture, shutter speed, ISO, and basics of how to operate the camera. Let's take our first picture. Take your camera, take the lens cap off, put it somewhere like in your pocket where you won't lose it. Turn your camera on. Take a look at your scene. Is it a bright sunny day? Is it a cloudy day? Is it dark out? Are you inside? Notice how much light is available and set your ISO accordingly. So 100 for the very bright day, 6400 if you're shooting at night or in a dark interior setting. Then you can think about where you want to frame your image. What do you want in your image? What's going to be in the center? What's going to be on the right, the left, the foreground, the midground, and the background? Look through your camera and press your shutter halfway. If you don't hear the lens move, maybe you don't have it in automatic focus, so check your autofocus on the left. Once you have the thing in focus, or the area that you want to focus on set, look at your light meter at the bottom. Is it under or overexposed? Then you want to choose your aperture or your shutter speed to be correct. So in manual mode, you can adjust either aperture or shutter speed using, by default, it's going to be on aperture. You can use the dial at the top to make it either faster or slower. So again, the bigger the fraction, so right now mine is on 1/320th. That's a pretty fast shutter speed. So maybe my camera, in fact here it's saying it's not enough light, so I'm going to scroll that to the left, which will make the exposure longer, a longer shutter speed. And I can go all the way down to 1/80th handheld, so I'll do that. Tells me there's still not enough light. So next I can adjust my aperture and widen the aperture, which means a lower number. So f-stop is going to be lower. I can use the buttons on the back of my camera, so I use the right button to move over. And I'm already at the widest aperture for my settings here. So that tells me that in this lighting situation, I'm going to need to adjust my ISO more. My first guess was not accurate. So in here, I have an ISO of 800, but I'm going to need a higher number to make it more sensitive to light. So then I'll go back, change my ISO, and then start again with the aperture and shutter speed. You can calculate the aperture and shutter speed you would need for each ISO based on formulas in your textbook. Or you can use the trial and error method, which I just described. So once you have an image through your viewfinder that looks good, and your light meter is marked right in the middle, then you can check your focus and press the shutter button, and you've got an image. Don't forget to set your white balance. If your image comes out really blue or green or really yellow, that means you need to adjust your white balance. Take a look at the white balance video to know how to do that.